All right, Sin.
One thing that irks me about that video is it does not address, from where I can see, where most of those people living in cars and most of those people living in those situations come from. Those people come from the fact that they shut down all the inpatient mental hospitals. Looking at like police records and things that come again and again, almost all of the people who, and I will say that, I'll say almost all, and I will generalize, what we look at mostly on these calls are people who have ongoing mental health problems, who 30 years ago would have been in a residential mental health facility receiving treatment. But they decided to shut down all the mental hospitals in favor of what they call community-based care, which tends to mean they're the community's problem. The community can just deal with them while they're running around naked on the levee screaming at the top of their lungs. And for a lot of these people, letting them stay in a camper or getting them an apartment isn't going to work without supervision. They need residential help. And the other thing is, you and I both know, Mark, that a big chunk of the homeless population, especially the ones that get arrested, are people who are on probation and parole. Now, technically, you aren't allowed to be homeless while you're on probation or parole. They've told us that. The probation system has told us that. The judges have told us that. And they're supposed to look out for you to make sure you're getting what you need. That's why you have probation and parole officers. But we see these people time and again who are on probation or on parole get arrested 15, 16 times, says right on the court records they're homeless. Do they put them back in a facility? Do they find them in a halfway house? No. And then the judge has told us, well, I can't put them back in jail. That would have to be the parole board. Or I'm not the person that, we can't just revoke their probation for being homeless, even though the condition of that. And so while like that video was like, it's because housing is expensive, but so much of that is because they have abandoned the duties they already have to people. There are supposed to be, there are places for people who are homeless and on parole and probation to go. You've already got funding to look after these people, but what you've done is clear your jail numbers and like, look, our population is right where we want it because these people are living in tents. And, oh, look, we have all residential, all community-based mental health care because we don't have any of these people in facilities and nothing to do with them. And more than anything they're doing, that if they were to provide actual mental health facilities for people who are in crisis and actually take people who are on parole and probation and make sure they have a place to go, that would take such a chunk out of that population. It would be incredible. But the largest contributing factor, drugs are a huge contributing factor, but the absence of inpatient mental health care, an appropriate number of beds, is such a big factor, and it's nothing anybody's willing to address. And every political party is in on it, and every administration over the past 30 years in this state, no one's done anything about it.
Watch the SCDN After Hours podcast, streaming each Saturday at 9 p.m. The gloves come off in this uncensored discussion of the week's hot topics. And of course, Baby Toots.